Alright, we're getting somewhere. We're on vertical streaming now. And of course now I can't use horizontal. Right. Start Twitch. Start YouTube. Let's see. Right, Facebook is up. YouTube vertical is up. Apparently, even though it's not showing there. And I guess I've got to wait for YouTube to appear. Let's check Twitch. Alright, there we go. Oh no, that is vertical is this way. It's not going to launch two streams again. Yeah, this OBS is a pain in the ass. Right, so we've got Twitch. We've got, I think we've got Facebook. It's showing in the test stream, but not on Facebook, but it's clearly live in one way. We've got YouTube vertical, but I don't think we've got any YouTube horizontal. Yeah, if anyone's actually on, well, to be honest, I can't even see the chat for Facebook Live, so I wouldn't know. I don't really understand the Facebook Live thing. It's showing as live in the settings, but we're not showing as live anywhere, and there's literally no one on there. So connect video. Oh, complete post details. I'm doing something manually. Go live. Public. Anyone. Done. Stream setup. Go live. Why can't I? Go live. What's your live about? Title. Amiga. This is weird doing it the old-fashioned way. Amiga 500 repairs. Save. Why can't I still go live? Doesn't tell me. Facebook is a load of shite. Literally got everything filled out and it just says complete post details. Description required. Amiga 500 repairs. Save. Right, there we go. So now Facebook will go live. That is a pain to do that. We need to improve that. So the problem now is, I presume everybody on YouTube is on vertical. I don't know whether it's, has it gone? I suppose that's the question. Has the YouTube vertical gone live as, yeah, that one is definitely not working. Has it gone live as a shorts or as just a main stream? Because I think that might be why it's blocking horizontal. You might be stuck on YouTube for today as a vertical stream, I think, at this rate. This is nowhere near as smooth as Streamlabs for multi-streaming. In terms of going live, this is a nightmare to try and go live. Let me change this to use main encoder then. Hoping it doesn't screw up all the other streams. And one last check and then we'll just get going, because I spend about 5-10 minutes trying to get these lives to go live these days. Will it show me in here? No, see, that's why I think it's not going to work, because when I go into YouTube's little live, go live thing, it doesn't let me change the stream key to see the other stream once we're live. That's why I've got a feeling we're going to be stuck on just the vertical for today. But yeah, YouTube just, well, none of them error. They just literally say you're live and you have to check that you're even live. No, so sorry, we're not live on YouTube's horizontal for some reason that I can't figure out, but we're live everywhere else. So we'll get rolling. What we have in now, which is something I've been trying to get onto for, I think this is 48 days old, this repair. It is an Amiga 500, and apparently, I don't want to show the customer's details. Just check I'm not showing anything off. Yeah, that's safe. So what we have here is basically send and service, requires diagnostics and a full recap. So basically it doesn't work at all and it needs a recap. It wants the OSSC and HDMI, which is what we use to show this off. It wants the RAM upgraded, and basically computer doesn't boot, shows grey screen. So let's just confirm that first. Let's check we get the same behavior, and then we'll attempt to repair this. And then the only thing left is next time we do this stream, I think I've figured out how to go live on Facebook now, but it is an absolute nightmare in terms of you have to click everything manually. So I don't know whether that's going to just be quicker next time. And then YouTube is the biggest problem. As soon as I go live on one of the streams, it doesn't let me go live on another, and I don't know why. So I'll have to figure that one out next time. But apparently we're streaming live on both, and we're clearly not, because in YouTube I'm not live on horizontal. So I don't know why it's doing that. So we have RGB, and we'll just check what we get on RGB first. Hey, afternoon. Oh, YouTube, good. I presume you've seen this vertical, are you? Because we can't get the thing going live on horizontal at the minute. So I presume this is showing us like a vertical YouTube. If it's horizontal, that's good, but it's not showing for me. So that's why I'm been having fun for about 20 minutes trying to get this multi-streaming stuff working again now I'm on a Mac. Yeah, I'm about to say I even got my mic on as well, because I've muted the mic on and off trying to figure this out. Right, that's in. We shouldn't need mouse for this. We should put HDMI over the top. Turn on. So we've got a sync signal, which is good. Power light. And yeah, no, like nothing else. A brief. Oh no, I have to tap the source maybe. Yeah, vertical, so that's it. At least the vertical's fairly okay, to be honest, though. But it's not quite the same as having both options. I'll figure it out, though, like I say, in the next few streams. It's just the problem with testing streams is you can't have to go live and just go for it as you're doing it. Yeah, so black screen pretty much. For Facebook chat as well, I've got nowhere to view the Facebook chat at the minute, so that won't be something we can chat back to at the moment. Just so if you're on Facebook and listening, I don't see the chat. Yes, this is black screen then, basically. So we'll start with that. That's where we're at the minute. Zoom this right out as well. There we go. Like that. Take that off as well. Need that now. Yeah, someone's been in this before. That's pinging open. Oh yeah, takes up the full desk. I was going to say I couldn't see chat on Facebook, but apparently we can. I think the chat's limited to subs only, but it looks like Facebook isn't limited, so that comes through regardless by the looks of it. Unless there is such a thing on Facebook as the like the YouTube members. I don't know. It's probably just that it's coming through. Right then, so once you've got them 6 screws out, you want to, this looks like it's going to fall apart because somebody's already been in it and already broken the tab. So you can see down here, I was about to show you how you get these open without breaking tabs, but these, I don't think they're quite broken, but you normally flick the sides here, basically, so this comes off gently. Well, like I say, this, oh yeah, I'm pretty sure someone's been in it. Yeah, the titles, that's the other thing. Let me see if this works. Stream info, Amiga 500, repairs, and HDMI. Done. And then let me know that's updated the Twitch title. I need to make all the software to do all this multi-streaming stuff because it is not smooth when you're using OBS and this ATEM thing. There's too many steps involved. Let's just check one last time to see if YouTube is streaming vertical, horizontal. No, it isn't. So I might as well just turn that feed off. And we get the chat overlay, don't we? Yeah, that's it. Right, cool. Alright, so keyboard out, which is just one plug on this, and then these little tabs at the bottom kind of slides in there. So you want to make sure when you're lifting up, you don't like, snap these, you've got to slide out. And then we need a Torx bit, which I constantly move around and forget where I've put them. Here, I think. Nope. There we go. All the screws there, and then we have one on the side of the floppy, which you always forget, which is just here holding the floppy in, and then the floppy's held in underneath as well. So we'll probably leave him in at the minute, get this cage off, and then we'll get the floppy out last. So these tabs I can probably show you on the overhead. Well, that's zoomy. Yeah, so these tabs just basically put a tool in and bend up. This is my epoxy tool, so I can clean it off at the same time. Get that epoxy. And then just do that all around the cage, basically. So 3 there. Is that it? I could have sworn there was more on the 500. That was never it. And then this should lift off. Oh, and one over here. I knew there'd be one more, just one up there. Like that. So 4. And then a lot of people will leave this cage off. Just can't be bothered putting it back on sometimes, basically, people. So on the 500, it's optional, really. Sometimes I'll put it back on, but usually if I'm going to leave it off, I'll ask the customer. In this case, we'll put it back on. This looks quite clean as well, to be honest, looking at it. So I was expecting worse. This isn't that bad at all. So the customer wants the RAM upgrading to 1 meg, so we need to pretty much, I think you fill these ports, and then I can't remember on the 500 whether we change one of the jumpers. I've got a feeling, if I remember rightly, something to do with JP2. I'll have to double check when we come to do that. But no, this looks quite clean. With it not being the A500 Plus as well, we haven't got as much, well, we haven't got any leaks, really, like electrolyte leaks anywhere. So this is more than likely going to be a fault. It's normally always capacitor rot, basically. This doesn't look like that. So the fault is potentially going to be component level. So the Gary's fine. Obviously on the A500 Plus, this is where you'll get your big clock battery that rots all this area. So it's nice to see that clean. I can't see anything visually wrong, so let's just let's get this motherboard out first. Is that all the screws? I think that's actually all the screws on the inside. We've now got to get all of these socket screws off after to get the bottom cage off, but before that we want this floppy out. So if we turn over, there's then 2 mechanical screws here. Them 2. I'm holding onto the floppy while I'm doing that because it then wants to fall out. And then just undo that little one there. And do we have one other? Yeah, I forgot one other. There's 3 at the front. There's one right down here at the front. There we go. That should now lift out and then disconnect this. And I always label these. Get me Sharpie so you remember which way to go back in. So like that. It makes sense then. Basically the arrow's the up position. And that's just because the connector on the board doesn't have any locking mechanism. It's just an open ID header, so you can quite easily plug these in the wrong way. And now with that out, hey, welcome in. I couldn't get the horizontal stream working on YouTube, so we're vertical on YouTube. But everything else is up now. We've actually got Facebook backup, I think, and all the others are streaming. So it's just figuring out now why it's not the horizontal YouTube. It's more the fact of doing 2 streams. Whatever I'm doing in OBS, as soon as you lock in one stream, you can't start another. So I should be able to figure that out. Yeah, no rot on here. This is complete, just no boot. Like nothing on screen at all. So it's not rot related though, which was kind of an easier diagnostics because you know what the problem is. The board's then held in as well by this single clip down here. So literally this one clip holds the entire massive motherboard in. If you're wondering how this is still in the case, and it's an absolute nightmare to get out because this clip is really strong, and so it's very difficult to get out without snapping with the age of it. So I won't lie when I say that probably breaks once every 5 times when we do this, but that one's actually survived. And then this now should lift up to there and then pull this way. And as long as we haven't forgotten anything, there we go, just sticky. That's the big ass case out of the way. And then to get this out, we then need to take out all of these sockets, which I have here. Oh yeah, I'd say the biggest issue with the 500 getting it out is that one clip we just saw. It's like, it either comes out or it's not going to come out. You kind of know straight away. It's either going to break the case, well, break the clip, or it's going to come out, and it's not much you can do about it, basically. one thing you can do with a 500 as well is put on a Raspberry Pi if you wanted to, like a Pi Storm, over the top of the Z80, I think it is. Z80 or 68K. Be the 68K wanted. Yeah, it's never going to be a Z80 on this. And then that can just bypass a few things on the board to see if you get boot. But I'm not going to bother on this one for now. We'll try to... I don't know whether to try to diagnose it first before recapping, because the recapping is almost definitely not going to solve anything. The caps aren't that bad that it's going to stop boot. So I think we try and solve the problem first. This comes out then. Oh, and then the other thing that will also stick is... actually, no, this isn't one. I was going to say these are normally quite grippy, the little ports, but it's not grippy. So why is this one not coming out? Oh, well, I forgot. Yeah, it's not coming out because I forgot to do the end ones. There we go. That should come out nice and easy. There we go. And of course, I've got some screws somewhere. Don't know. I've got plenty spare though. Yeah, I've got one in there, so I can find that afterwards. Right, so first thing we'll do is a visual inspection, really. I can't see anything obvious. There's nothing that stands out as bad. Even the sockets don't look bad. There's generally nothing on here, so that's what's making me think we've probably got component failure, almost definitely. It's not ruling out. It's not ruling out that there's not going to be component like trace rot. You can have invisible trace damage, but this looks pretty simple and clean. So we have a few options. You can remove chips and resocket them first, just like lift them out, clean them, put them back in. Sometimes that works. We might as well give that a go. Oh yeah, there's the big 68K. We can, I can't remember on the 500, there isn't a diagnostics ROM, is there? There's just the Amiga test kit. So we really need to get to boot first. We can swap the Kickstart ROM here as well, but again, rarely fails. I'd say our best bet is, and you can also remove chips that aren't needed. I think I've put on the wiki, you can like remove some of these from the sockets to still get so far in the boot. Let me check my wiki, see what my last update was for diagnostics on it, like the best steps. I'm trying to think of the best way of tackling this. Minimum boot, so put the PC up. So I've already done all this many times, and then I make notes because I'll forget a week later what I've done, basically. You can remove all these if you have a system and cannot repair unless you're unsure. You can remove all the lower RAM, the Polar, which is right there. You can remove the two CIAs, which are up here. And you can remove the Denise, which is video output, but the problem is we need the video output to see much without getting the scope out. But you could basically remove the top half of the board then, these and the Polar. You need the Gary to communicate and these data paths here. So the Gary talks through the data paths down to the RAM, and then the 68K loads in the ROM, and the Fat Angus is like a glue chip between all of that. And the Gary's sort of a glue chip, but also talks to CIAs. The diag ROM, is it a ROM that goes in here? I've probably got one. I just haven't worked on a 500 in a while that's needed one. Let's have a look. I mean, I've got a spare 68k, so if we need one of them, we could swap it. In fact, might be worth swapping that just for the sake. I don't even know what I've done with all the ROMs, to be honest. I've got a ton of Kickstart ROMs, and they're not in there. Can't find them there. Let's try up here. Oh, yeah, I've got tubs full of stuff. They're all here. So, see what we got. We have the PCMI kit, we don't need that. Drawbridge for a floppy drive reader. I don't think it's that one. We've got the new batteries. There we go, so we've got some kickstarts here, 1.3, A1200. Ah yeah, I've got the diagram for the 32. That's the 1200. This will be then the 500. There we go. Got a diagram there. 16-bit diag, so yeah, it's going to be for this. So I guess we can try the diagram first, see if we get anything. And then we have some spare chips here. Yeah, these boxes, I don't think they'll be long enough. I mean, you can see, you actually won't get that in. You can fit a 500 ROM in there. If you need some of these, then I can get you them sent on the next one. Right, so let's start with this first. We've got a 68K we can swap. We've got some standard Kickstart ROMs. And we have a diagram. So probably start with a diagram, I reckon. Probably the first place to start. So we'll swap this out. Is that fully zoomed out here? So we want this chip out. Oh, you can move that out of the way for now. So we'll go in here. I've got a tool for removing these, but I still like just this tool for going in gently. I don't like using the proper extractor tools. I personally end up flinging the chips out. So I'll get the tool underneath either way, and then I just twist. So basically I get that under the chip like that, and then I'll twist left and right so you can't apply too much force. So in there and then twist gently like that. I suppose you kind of can't see from that angle, but I'm inserting it, I'm twisting this like that, left and right, so it gets it off without, you know, applying any untoward force. So that's the custom stock one. While we're here, let's just click IPA the socket and also just check it visually. So it looks pretty clean to me. I don't think there's any like I say, looks a fairly clean board, so I'm pretty sure we're probably going to be dealing with I don't know, should we have a guess what we think it's going to be? I reckon I'm going to say one of these data paths is bad, is my guess. But your most likely guesses, if you don't even know, are the Gary chip could fail. The CIAs could fail and stop it booting, but we can just remove them to get past that. They're pretty common failures, CIA chips. You could have the fat hangers, which is very rare this fails, but I have seen it. And the RAM is probably the next most common. No booting at all, black screen, and then no screen, basically, we get. So everything can fail, but RAM is pretty common. Gary's pretty common, but I'm going to say data path myself. That's my guess. And I don't think the diag chip works either. Oh, we can't use this either, because this is not the right one. There's too many pins. Can't be bothered to write another chip. Let me see. I would have thought I'd got one spare, but obviously not. HD prog BIOS files, maybe? Yeah, Amiga. Diagram. Ah, yeah, 16-bit low and high. So it's not for that. The normal diagram. I made all notes on this as well, so it's easy to quickly find. Yeah, I've had fun with the multi-stream this morning, so we haven't got... I started the YouTube vertical because I couldn't get that one working the last time. And then it seems like once we get one YouTube stream, I can't start another. So there's something wrong there, so we've just got vertical for now. Where am I going? Trying to think where I put it. ROM chips. What did I say on here? It's genuinely been that long since I've done the 500 diag chip. I did tons on this as well because I remember writing all of the, like when you get RAM failures, I mapped out every single button and did. I wonder if that was the 600 or the 1200. Where did I put that? I did like an entire, I remember doing it and making a graphic for it that basically, when it flashes up like random colors on screen or dots, I mapped every single one to a certain RAM chip, and I can't even find that on the wiki. Don't know what I've done with it. Diagram, there we go, A500. Oh yeah, so it's in there, kind of. I'm on the wiki now, changing. Oh, it's disappeared. I haven't got chat up. He'll have to paste that whole message again if you need an answer. I didn't see that. No, I didn't hear any noises. I think we're dealing with very early failure on. Insert diag BIOS into slot. I can show you one. Reading anyway my own wiki at the minute. So this is what we're expecting. Oh, I know another thing we can do as well is to, it's all coming back to me now. You can solder somewhere up here a UART connector to listen to the UART as well. Where did I do all that documentation? Because that's not on here either. I distinctively remember doing tons on this. and there's loads of info missing. And it was definitely, I can figure it all back out if I need to. So yeah, that wiki's missing everything at the minute. Let me just see if I can find out what I was after. Amiga 500, the C400 chips. Have I got any here? Oh, got an 800. Can you grab us a few of them? 27 C400s from the warehouse. C400. Yeah. You better bring in like 5 in case we fail. And I'll program them. I think we're going to have to make up one. Twitch, tell you what, oh, hang on, Twitch chat. I've got a Twitch chat, didn't have to type again. I'm on the wiki now, changing the language on the GameCube. Do I remove the resistor or do I need to bridge the language pins? Changing language on a GameCube, you have to, you bridge, I can't remember off the top of my head, you bridge I think you swap a resistor. I'm thinking of Dreamcast. I'm thinking of where you have to use the language change disc. Let me go off topic a quick second while we grab them chips anyway. GameCube language change. Located by the CPU. Yeah, so basically you have on the wiki, where is it? PC overlay. You've got basically this is the pin here that you're trying to change, pull high or low. So move that resistor up or down, basically. If it goes here, it's going to set it to one way. Move it up, it sets it to another. So your simplest way of doing it is moving that resistor up or down. And then it'll say, when it's 0 volts, it's in NTSC-U. So basically, if you move this up, it's in NTSC-U, like U, which is English. And if it's down here, this will be Japanese. And they are a pull-up, R5 around 10K, and a pull-down. So whatever's in that area, remove both, and then just put a 10K resistor in whichever slot you want, is the simplest way of thinking of it. If you want a switch in the back, then you just can have the resistor set like this, with say a 10K resistor here, solder a wire to the language, off to your switch, and the other side of your switch to ground. And then that's a toggle, pull-low toggle switch, basically. Right, I've just got to now make a new diag chip. I could have sworn I got one, but obviously no. Got so many. I mean, is there another one in here? 1.3, 1.3. Original. That's definitely not. Original. Kickstart 1.2. Original here. So I don't know what happened to the diagram for the 500. I'll tell you what, while we're waiting, let's just try a stock. That's the customers. Let's try a stock ROM. I highly doubt this is it though. It's almost never the kickstart. Right, that's that in. Move the programmer out of the way a minute. I don't think this is going to achieve anything, but we'll try. That on. HDMI over. We don't need audio for now. We can just try that. We don't need floppy. All we need is that. I think turn on and black screen. So I'll tell you what, while we're here, do the good old IPA everywhere, toggle on and off. This is the wishful thinking fix. This is where you kind of hope just spraying stuff with IPA solves it, but you'd be surprised how many times this might lead to a hint. But the fact this board's that clean, I can't see this achieving anything. It's likely going to rule out the socket though, which is the first thing. Another thing we could do is quickly probe all the RAM chips to see if we've got any mid-floating 2-volt RAM. We could also, I'll tell you what, while we're here as well, why don't we thermal stuff? Kind of flying blind with no diagram or scope at the minute. I'm going to have to crack one of them out, I think. And so that is, it's always good to put your finger in range as well, so you kind of get things can look hot, like, you know, that's my hand. That can look hot like that, but then you put your hand in for reference. That's not hot. So, yeah, normal. Yeah, no signs of heat, so it's not going to be any of them. So next up then, let's just let's remove these chips to the top. Or shall we just program these, to be honest? C400. There we go. Yeah, let's program one of these. That's the best way of figuring this out. Oh, I can't program it unless you've got the laptop. I've got a stupid Mac that can't do anything. Let me just write diag BIOS. I've got downloaded a new version of XG Pro as well. Current application software is too old, yeah, so time to update that. That's not it. Might as well take him out while we wait. T48. Yeah, so all going a bit too well at the minute. That's why we've never got time to keep up on these repairs and work. yeah, we can try reseating all the chips after. Hopefully this diagram gives us something, and if not, I think we'll probably end up. It's tempting. What I should really do is do diagram first. If that gets us nowhere, we should then figure out where we put the UART pins to then connect over terminal on the PC to then stream the diagram. But I can't find the documentation of it. I know I wrote loads of it for exactly that reason, basically. Like where you solder to, and unless somebody can find me that on the wiki, I've got that many pages. I literally can't find out where it is, where it tells you which pins to solder to and or which resistors and things, and I just can't find the info on the wiki. Right, nearly there now. Just got to update the programmer somewhere. Reflash firmware. And then we've got to figure out half the time these chips end up not working because they're so old. But hopefully this one will. Select IC 27C400. That will do. Don't check ID. Load. Right, now the other question is which diagram do we load? I think it's the there's that many on the Amiga. Kickstart, blah blah blah. Diagram V2. See, it's 16-bit. I'm confused as to how we ended up with a 16-bit diagram that's got an extra pin. 512. Let's go with the 16-bit, not bit flipped. I honestly can't remember. Program, pin failure straight away. Wicked. Is the other programmer down there? Shouldn't be, should it? Because we've got him here. Record. I need the T56 biggie. Let's try again. There we go. So this is now programming as a new diagram if I've done it all right, which I think I have. And then we'll see what we get. And the reason we're trying to fix it first as well is, say there's a major failure like the Angus that's going to need a new, pretty much parts donor from a working Amiga. The cost can be quite expensive and the customer might not want to pay for the extra stuff. So if we end up doing a recap first, then we can't refund the customer for the recap, basically. So we always try to do things in the right order. Like, I think in this case, it's quite clear these caps are not going to be the underlying cause. I'd be amazed if they were. Let's see what this gives us. Hopefully something. Yes, this is a really early failure. So yeah, if we don't get coincidence? That's just, I think, floating noise. Keyboard shouldn't really matter too much if we're not getting anything on the diagram anyway. I guess if it's just the Denise, it might give us a hint of something. So we've got just Single. Are we going to get any kind of flutter or flicker as it attempts to read anything? No, just dead keyboard. So there's no interactivity, which you'd expect because you're getting nothing on screen, basically. So we are definitely looking early on failure. I don't even think it's data path now, I reckon. Yeah, green power light. I reckon 68K swap maybe, considering I've got one right here. Next, good little starting point. And I'm pretty sure, ignoring the Denise chip, if that was booting, we'd get some activity on the keyboard light as it tries to reset the keyboard and stuff, because the keyboard reset is tied to a major part of the system. Tell you what, I've never done this before. Just turn on without the 68K out of curiosity. Will that do, I presume, absolutely nothing? No, so that's showing us that I think the Denise spins up. Actually, yeah, I should have tons of info on this. It's all coming back now. The Denise automatically starts up and outputs a black screen until the Angus communicates with, which one was it? Communicates with one other chip and then tells this to do stuff. So I remember doing all this. Where did I put it all? I can distinctively remember stuff like this, but I don't seem to have made any notes anywhere. I must have. Yeah, there's like next to nothing on the wiki for it. So why do I remember it so well? I did absolutely tons on this. Yeah, nothing at all. Oh, hang on, maybe. Old CIAs, how to read. Oh, so it looks like I maybe put in the odd CIA section. I put a lot in. So I've done all the pinouts to everything, and then I'm describing where the reset line goes, which is the critical part that you'd then go through the system to find. And this is where I think I talk about, yeah, the polar interrupt. And it goes there. It goes this VSync tick that then changes the output and kicks in. So yeah, it's not. And this is that bit I was on about, the chip RAM. When you use the diagram and you get this screen and it means nothing, I overlaid all these to tell you exactly which pin and which chip these lines go to. So if you get like a failure in one of these green lines on the diag BIOS, I literally purposely made every pin one at a time bad to find out where they went to. But yeah, I think that's it's not very well structured, basically. Right, so we're getting the same symptoms without a 68K as with one, which shows that obviously the black screen is basically just the Denise booting up with no other interaction from the Angus chip. So we are literally at the stage of a basically completely dead system. So maybe 68K then. And to be honest, I wouldn't trust this diagram yet. I might put the normal ROM back in, because I've just wrote that with the programmer and picked the diagram, and I don't even know if I've done it right. I'm pretty sure I have, but let's just go back to the stock ROM for now. And then we might be getting to oscilloscope time. Let's go back to say a 1.3. In fact, let's just go back to the customers. So what we might do then is probably remove the CIAs next, just because they can. The reason the CIAs can stop boot is they can pull down the data buses on the other chips, and then it can stop boot completely. If the ROM can't be read, then it's gonna just keep everything low. That's fine. Yeah, nothing. So let's take out these. Let's just mark them as well. Odd. Even, not that they matter, they're the same chip, you can swap them around. But I'll just mark them anyway. Need something a little bit thinner to get under first. Oh, that's what I didn't want to do. Scrape through. So we're going to have to bend all that back into place. Luckily, I just scraped through the plastic, not the chip. Bent the legs on the CIA though. Put them back into place. I've got the proper tool for this as well, the chip extractor. But I tend to do more damage if I use the chip extractor to pull, because they end up like pulling up the speed. Bend all them legs. Flat surface will get that back to normal. There we go. I was lucky. Could have scratched through the PCB and everything there. Now let's try with that one off, and then we'll take the other one off after. Just looking for any change basically. So now it's not going to change. What we should see is black screen, then dark grey, then light grey, then boot. So we're getting at the minute nothing. I think we'll probably go to scope soon and maybe check the reset line, because I've got a feeling something can be holding the entire system in resets and nothing's going to be running, which is probably what's happening. Whether it's a faulty chip or not, it's probably not coming out to reset at all. Like the entire, it could be, but I reckon, yeah, these chips have never been out either, because they're all in firm. There we go, that's fine. So odd, even, we've got customer 68K, both of them out. Let's try again. Oh, have we got that many viewers now? The overlays disappeared. Let me move that chat thing over. How do I do this? Overlay live. There we go. I think what's happened actually is I think Facebook's dropped, hasn't it? We've got no count on Facebook. Let's just have a quick look. Because if that's dropped, I might as well. I was going to say I might as well end on the vertical, but we're on we're on the vertical. No, we're still live. Yep, just looks like the count on Facebook says 0. Right, so taking the 2 CIAs out hasn't helped. Taking the Denise out isn't going to help much because we're not going to see or hear anything. Oh no, that's just when I toggled to the live overlays, it just obviously blacks everything else out. So I could move the live overlay stuff. I don't think I've got a spare Gary. I could get another 500, and to be honest, they're all socketed. I should probably grab a 500 and swap all the chips. The problem is I don't have a known working 500, so we'd be swapping chips blindly, but I should probably write on or block the customers as well, just so we know which chips are the customers before we get confused. So that's the customers. That one isn't the customers, actually, that's mine. That one's the customers. Alright, so the quickest test for this is with them all being socketed. Just swapping them out for, other chips. That's like a nice quick option. I'll go grab another 500 then. I've got hopefully one already in bits. Or I suppose let's just quickly lift up and place back down the chips. Just get them out the sockets, IPA them, put them back in. It's like a good, just a good simple test. It's unlikely to yield any results, but no harm in doing it. again, if we just look at the sockets, you can see they're pretty clean. Like, I've seen much worse than that, so there's nothing, don't think there's anything particularly wrong there. Nothing worth looking into yet. Let's try that one. Nope, no change there. On that one. Power up out of curiosity without a Gary in. So you can see with no Gary, nothing on screen at all. That's needed for even getting a sync signal, interestingly. That's it. Back in. And nothing. So that's everything that's socketable removed. So if that was, like if I didn't have another Amiga now, with oscilloscope next. But like I say, because I've got another Amiga, the quickest next step is to put these in. I'm purposely going to put these in backwards as well. I'm going to put the even over here and the odd over here, because sometimes if you have a faulty CIA chip, swapping them around, one of them is critical for a certain stage of boot and the other isn't. So sometimes swapping these around can give you a hint if something changes. The chips, they are the Paula, the Denise, the Gary, the Angus, and the CIA. Oh, well, actually, no, just them four are custom chips. Then 68K is just a normal 68K. The ROM you can reprogram. Now we have the ROMs, so you can reprogram them. CIAs, I don't believe they are custom as such to the, I mean, they are in one way, they're custom to the Amiga, but you can get CIAs from other machines normally, not just the Amigas. And you can sometimes buy these on the market. But generally, they are, you know, all the ones I've pointed out are custom. Actually, one last check. The Angus is, I've actually got the extractor for this, so if you don't know how to remove these chips, don't try, because you can damage these getting them out. So, where is my extractor tool? That's going to be the next question. You haven't seen a lot of black. Well, if I give you any, I saw it explain how little black rips out of that bit, like alarms. Now let's see. Where are we? be in one of these tubs. That's 3 tubs, and then I guess we're not taking out the fat Angus signal. Nope. Don't know what I've done with them. And I definitely don't want to remove that without the right tool. I know they've been on this desk the whole time. I mean, to be honest, it's unlikely to going to be the problem anyway, but nope. I don't know what I've done with them. There's some pads you can use that. Don't keep them, you don't keep needing double-sided thick film.
Oh, yeah, that'll do.
Yeah, that's perfect. Don't go spare speaker in here, so I'll actually go to the Alright, no, can't find that. So I'm just going to grab another Amiga, then I can't find the tool for that anywhere. I don't know what I've done with it. I definitely have it, but no idea where I put it. No, OSSC is fine because if I toggle this off and this on, that should then show up like that, and then I press it and it gets there and we get sync, so it won't be that. Let me go grab another Amiga. There we go. That's what we want. Fully works. What do you reckon? And it's got a Pi Storm on as well. And then another one. Chip's okay. Bad board apparently. So these are so big. Where do we start? Right. I think if this is set up right, it's still plugged in. This is an optional HDMI for real-time graphics output, but I don't think we need that. So I presume we can do this. And the beauty of having a working one, if this does work, is we can systematically check all of the customer's chips at the same time. So let's see if my apparently fully working one works or not. There we go. Kind of. Why is the grey halfway down? Fully works, does it? Oh, yeah, just really... Oh, yeah, I forgot 500s are really slow. Really slow. And this is with the Pi Storm. Or, yeah, this might be trying to load like a full... the full workbench off that Pi Storm, maybe. I already thought about that straight away, checking if the diagram works. I mean, this isn't fully working for a start. Where's my pen? Fully working-ish. I'm not missing anything. We've got 3.2.2, so it should be booting to actual kickstart. Yeah, I've been good enough. It's better than where we've got to. So first thing we're going to do then is take off this. Oh, actually, no, it probably is all working. I bet what I've done on this Pi Storm is configured it for only, of course I have. I've configured it for only RTX graphics, or whatever they call it, not RTX. Real time. I can't think what they call it, but I've configured it, I'm pretty sure, to only output out of here. So it's booting up, and then the Denise has been told, yeah, there you go. The Denise has been told to do nothing, basically. So you can get really high res output. Like if I show you this now, you can get literally HD graphics output. But it then has to go through the Pi to do it. But look how nice that looks, like full HD. Let's go back to using this hopefully as a working system to diagnose now all the chips. These things are so damn big you can't move. Right, so let's take this off. Well, this desk is already absolutely cluttered. So we can make some progress now. Yeah, so I went into all of this about making custom brackets, adapters, all for doing this to be able to break out the HDMI out the front. I just never got around to finishing it. So I don't know whether since then people have done it, but you can get them for normally like the trapdoor at the back of the 1200s, is it? Sorry, trapdoor, the little flap at the back of the 1200s. My idea was when you replace the floppy and have a GoTech. Where did I put the GoTech? The GoTech was in here, and then I put the HDMI and the SD card here that come from the Raspberry Pi. So that's a whole other thing. Where have I put that tool? I'll put it back. Yeah. So let's get this out carefully first. Power's off, yeah. So yeah, the best way to diagnose anything really is to have a fully working system so that you can do perfect tests now to take chips off and swap them over. So customers 68K, I might as well start with that. And then what I normally do is, once I know they're working, I'll then put is that connected back? Or, yes. Once they're working, I'll put a green dot on once we see things boot. So they should now boot up onto, there we go, kickstart nice and fast. So customers 68K is okay. So pink dot customers, green dot working. Now let's test our diagram, which is here. That'll be the next one, to see if I did that right. I've got literally a tub of everything for it. That's where I found all these bits, like the kickstart ROMs, and I've got like 5 tubs over there full of stuff like this when I was doing it. I need to get back into it really. Right, this one is I thought for a minute there, you know what? I think I put the diagram in upside down. Did I? Maybe when we were testing on that system. It's in my hand this way. You might have just moved around on the desk. Just got a feeling with seeing it on the desk that way. Did I put it in upside down? And see, this one as well is the 500 plus is the one with the extra pin. That's why I've got the diagram with the 16-bit written on in here somewhere. So this one is the one with the extra pin, and this fits in the 500 pluses, whereas the 500 doesn't have those extra pins. So whether I've even wrote the right diagram, let's start with the one I've written. At the bottom half of the pins. See if this works. Yes, that's working. So I'll show you what this does anyway, so you know what to expect. You get all these screens flickering. That line is normal, and then you'll get the data dumping out, and it'll start testing all the RAM chips and stuff. And then it mentions about the serial comms. Hold down any key or click right mouse button. So that diagram is good, what we've made. I'll grind on that. So that's 500 diag I've written on that. We can green dot it just for the sake, even though it's not the customers. So now we'll test the customers kickstart. That can go back over there for now. I probably need to move the customers board now from underneath. We can start robbing chips from it. Best place to do this, move them up there. Let's get the chip off. And the 500 plus is basically the same chips, if you're wondering as well. This is obviously a wrong slot. This is obviously a 500 plus, and the customers is a 500, but it's pretty much the same system. All the chips are the same. There's just more RAM down here and a few different jumper locations and minor stuff. But we can swap all these chips around basically. interesting. The power supply is okay. Yep, okay, that was random power supply glitchy. So I presume this will, well, to be honest, that should have booted up already. And, oh, Kickstart ROM on the 500 Plus, though, might not be compatible. So at least we should see grey screen. So it's like, I'm pretty sure there might be a compatibility bug with, obviously, the Kickstart to the 500, difference to the 500 Plus. So the fact we see a dark grey screen, though, tells us it's good enough that we should at least get to that on ours. So I'm going to class that as a good one. And it's the customers as well. Let's get the other dot. I'll try it once more as well, just to see if we get past it, but I do know. Again, something I'm pretty sure I wrote on the wiki was all these Kickstart compatibility things. Let me see if I can find it. Amiga Various, Kickstart ROMs, A500, yeah, 1.1 to 1.3, and then the A500 Plus started at version 2. So yeah, the Kickstarts aren't directly compatible, but it's enough to see that we get, you know, grey screen as opposed to none. So that's working as well, at least up to a point where we can trust it. But we know the diagram works, so we'd probably stick the diagram in anyway as we're testing, as opposed to that. So let's put the original one back in for now. Test this fully boots. I think we can test it after when we get it working. I think you can, but on me. Oh yeah, I think on the wiki I was reading the official releases. Sorry, the official releases stopped at 1.3. I'm pretty sure you can, but then if so, why isn't this booting with 1.2 or 1.3? Maybe it's the opposite way around, where you can't lower the 500 Plus down. Right, so let's try the Paula next then. Let's also try it without this in on a working system, just to see what happens. So with nothing in, the poorly, oh, I was just about to say you get nothing out of the screen, but we just got a black screen there, so let's just try that again. So you get a very delayed black screen without the polar in. And with the customers in, what do we get? A booting system, so that's good as well. So just bear in mind all the chips in here with the dots on the customers, so that's good. We know this is good enough in a sense to get to grey screen, at least to the customers, but I've left 3.2 in so we can actually see something. That's the customers good. So next up is the Gary. Oh yeah, I've done that before. Let's run it into there. That's Gary there. You watch, it'll end up being the Fat Angus, and I can't find the tool to get it out either. Ah, nice, yeah. Never noticed that. I know you mentioned him, but I never noticed who he was in the chat. Right, then there's an interesting thing. Is the Gary dead? Although we're getting different symptoms on this one, we're just getting black screen. I think maybe just the power supply is a little bit dicey, or this works ish as maybe also a key to it. Although we're not getting boot now. I'm half skeptical of this power supply though as well, because it just tripped out the other time, didn't it? Or maybe I just power cycled it too quick. Not letting the voltage discharge. That might be the culprit then. Definitely in. Yep, defo in the right way. Of course, it's going to be one of the chips you can't replace, and you have to use a donor console. Computer, as I'll get told off by all the Amiga fans. It's got a keyboard, it's a computer. Put the old Gary back in, make sure we get consistent boot. You watch, now nothing will work. No, that still works, so Gary dead maybe. Just do a couple of power cycles, swap back over. Yeah, there's a good, to be honest, it's something I was going to make. You can buy these connectors that go in the back. And then my idea was just the connector with a USB-C port on. So you can just use a USB power delivery plug in the back of the Amigas. But yeah, there's quite a few people that make, the Amiga's got a really big scene for is that a Gary chip? Anybody want to search that? I just had a thought. If some, mind you, no, it's got to be, because just Google that number, 5719468944. See if that is the Gary chip. I'm sure it will be, because it felt like it was too tight that it's never been removed. But you never know sometimes if somebody's been in it and swapped things and put things back and backwards. I don't recall specifically that being the Gary chip. I'm sure it will be though. So we've consistently booted the known working Gary chip 3-4 times in a row. We've removed and reinserted this Gary chip and we're not getting boot. So I think Gary chip is probably dead. So let's put sad face on this one. Ooh, sad face on the wrong one. Put sad face on the good one. Sorry, working Gary. Let's wipe you off. So in that case then, no point checking the CIAs for now. Or shall we just finish checking? Let's finish checking. We might as well. Yeah. Or is it the... No, it's got to be the Garys are the same. It's got to be that. Or again, maybe just quickly Google that is the Gary chip from a 500 plus, or a Gary chip from the 500 usable and a 500 plus. I'm 99% sure it is, but we never know. Check if that still works. Yeah, cool. And CIAs, let's just check these, might as well. And the Denise as well. Let's just check all the chips. So we, at least then when we go back, full code again, 5719 468944. That one off. Let's do them both at the same time. So many chips lying around. That is that, isn't it? The Paula. So let me put the Paula back in before I get confused with this as well. And I'm sure, yeah, they're compatible, cool. I'm sure this boots without the 2 CIAs. Yeah, so we get a green screen that it thinks there's, I think green screen it thinks it's RAM, well, it's obviously not RAM. It's, I've ripped the CIAs out, but yeah, we should be able to get that when we remove them as well. But considering we've got the working one, we might as well just test them properly. Do I use my proper extractor tool? I just know I'm worse at this extractor tool than doing it the way I'm doing it. Nah, I hate them. I just know I'm going to rip it out with them. With the extractor tools, I always pull them and then they just go fly out. So I'm not going to do it with that. And I'm off topic. Do you do Retrobrite? We did, yeah. We did it and we had a whole setup for it. And then we just got, everybody was sending them in and they take a lot of hydrogen peroxide, a lot of time, a lot of space. And to be honest, we just get tipping the peroxide everywhere as well. And getting containers that didn't leak or the peroxide eating through, keeping stock of it because it swells up. It was just a nightmare. It's another one of them things just when you're busy, you don't need to do. We've got the luxury that we can pick what we want to do now. So we just ended, when we ended a lot of the other stuff, like mostly like CD drive stuff, because we'd always fix a CD drive and then the customer gave back and their games won't work, but it's usually their games or something that's just, you know, a headache to give good customer service. We just stopped offering basically. So yeah, the peroxide went at the same time as that. Oh yeah, there's loads of tricks to it. You want the best is real sunlight instead of UV lamps. That's 100% the best way when you get actual sunlight. I just use pure peroxide, weighed them down, and then I did actually inside have 2 really powerful UVA and UVB lamps. The trick is go to an can't even think what you call them. I might just put the wrong one back in. No. Where you buy like aquatic animals and turtles and things, not necessarily just a pet store, but you know, ones that sell like turtles basically, and you want a turtle basking lamp. That's got your UVB, I think it is, the one that you don't normally get in all the UV lamps that everybody uses, and that's the one that actually bleaches it the most, and that's what's in the sun. So that's the little trick that we used, that it'll get you a lot brighter, is make sure you have a UVA and a UVB lamp. The ones that are visible light are the ones that don't do that well. Yeah, there we go. I've just clicked in. That's his. Oh no, I was about to say we've made his system work. This is the working board, but the CIAs work. So the only thing left on the customers to check is the Denise, and then that's the only one that's faulty then. So hopefully, just swapping the Gary chip will fix it. Yeah. So basically, the UVB, I think it is the one that turtles have. That's the one that it almost just looks like infrared. It's just very warm, but you don't see any of the purpley stuff coming out. That's the one that actually works best on retrobrighting, and nobody's mentioned that. It's just something from trial and error and doing it so many times, so many different ways, that we figured out. And I only used them really at first for heat, because the heat again accelerates it, and the UVB was a lot hotter because obviously a basking lamp is hot, but it turned out that is a major reason why it works. So yeah, one UV light one way with an acrylic lid, so you can sit them on and it shine through, and still you also need to keep the vapors in as well. So we just lock it down with a lid, cut a hole in the lid, and then the light fit right over that hole, so it wasn't letting any of the vapors out. But yeah, we could take like well, I'll show you we've had the yellowest of yellow, like, oh, Wicked's camera doesn't look that yellow. Let's try the overhead. There you go. That's what it looks like. So we've taken keys like that. I've got them right here. And they were literally as yellow as that. And there's my Retrobrite one. This is off my Amiga. And they were the yellowest keys we had, and the whole system was like that. And that's what we got on Mac. So you can get them back, but everyone says these, like, it doesn't last. After a few years, it fades back. Which is another partial reason why we stopped it. It wasn't necessarily the reason, but there was always some people that would be like, oh, well, it doesn't last and people aren't going to be happy and all this lot. So, where's the customer's board gone? How can I lose an Amiga 500? Like 7 foot long. There we go. Yeah, but we don't do it anymore. We've got no plans in reintroducing it. So we know if the Denise works, we know all the socketed chips at least are good. It could still be the data bath, which was my original guess. We could still have bad chips there. But it's looking promising because we've found a definitely dead Gary chip, which is critical in the early stages to do anything at all. So, but the only thing, you know, that I don't think is as positive now I think about it, didn't we get different results when we removed the Gary chip versus it being installed? Which, to be honest, I don't know whether that's a problem, because a faulty one and a completely missing one might give two different behaviors anyway, so maybe it's not that much of an issue. Right, so last chip. And hopefully this works. Yeah, in fact, that's the other thing we used to do. We used to what was it? We used to Retrobrite where the logos totally disappeared. Was it SNESes?
Yes.
Yeah, used to the SNESes because they were always yellow, like yellow as shit. But the problem with them is they're dead fragile as well, so they were always breaking. But yeah, we bleached the shit out of some of them. They'd go back with no logos on at all, and then we'd have to just say, pretty much that's the process. But again, doesn't sound the best, does it, when you've stripped a badge and then tell them after that that's just part of the process. So right, we can label. That's everything labeled. So this needs to go back on. Can go back in there. Oh, and we haven't checked the fat Angus either because I can't find the tool. So we're making a presumption that's also good. It could be bad as well, but we'll see. Yes, that's still good. That's survived all of that. So now we don't need to worry about the OSSC, the cable, the power supply, or any of the chips we've now identified as good. Oh, I need to rob the Gary chip off this. Just put it up back and forgot the part we need to actually rob. That, yeah. That's it. And what do we reckon? And this is only stage 1 of this Amiga as well. It needs a full recap. It needs, well, that's it really. It needs a full recap, and it needs these RAM chips going on. And that's it, I think. And then plug and play, but obviously it's whether the customer wants to pay for the Gary chip, so we might have to contact him first before we do all the other work. There we go. Grey screen. Now, interestingly, we've got grey screen before, if you remember. So he might have a bad kickstart. Now we're getting the same behavior on the other one. So let's now try a new kickstart one. So we might have 2 problems, which then makes sense because it means the kickstart is also completely universal, and it is partially faulty as well, potentially. But that's obviously that's new because we weren't getting It weren't getting that light grey boot, which is the first stage. That's like the system loading part. I think it's the very first entry into the ROM. So let's try 1.3 ROM now. And what do we get? I presume now, hopefully this will work. You'd hope. Ooh, white screen. That's, I think, booted. I think. There we go. So we put a green on that. That's wrong. We have a bad Gary and a bad Kickstart ROM, which is a bit of a strange combo, but the Kickstart ROM we can do for free, like as part of the diagnostics cost, that's fine, but the Gary chip, unfortunately not. With the Amigas, there's a ton more to test though than just it's booted to that screen. We need to check the mouse works, all the ports work, the games load, the audio works, the external floppy works, his internal floppy works. So we need to really confirm first he's happy with paying for the Gary before we then do like the recap and other bits. Otherwise, he might not, if we do the recap, then he doesn't want to pay for the Gary. We've recapped a pointless board. So we can't really progress further on this, although we have fixed it, which is good. Not exactly the most enticing repair, but it's all part of the skills. At least you've seen the thought process of going through diagnosing this, even though I couldn't remember anything about it to start with. It's been that long since I've, like I say, worked on a 500. I think I've been working on the 1200s with all of them selling over Christmas. We sold like, I think 3 or 4 1200s, and I've done one the other day that didn't make it on stream as well. So when I've come back to the 500, it like starts coming back to you when you're working on them, but that's why I make all the notes on the wiki, because I literally forget as I'm going. So I'll have to wrap that one up there, because like I say, we need to contact the customer first, make sure it's happy. I can now sort out the graveyard of Amiga stuff behind me. And at least I can show this to the customer as well, so you can see the process. That's the other good thing about streaming stuff, that sometimes people will just make up stuff. Oh, it's this, you need to buy this, and especially when the Gary's going to be a little bit pricey, because Amigas are hundreds of pounds, and once you've got a known working chip, all you've got then is the donor chips for potential future systems. So you've got to balance that up with the price of the chip. It's nice to be able to see that it's real, and prove that you're not just making stuff up to make money. So that'll be it for this one. I'll jump on the substream in a minute. Once I've tidied up and had a coffee and that, we'll go and do the Game Boy re-PCB. Get a few hours of that in. So I'll see all the subs over there in probably at 3 o'clock, I reckon we'll jump on that stream. And then I've just got to try to figure out why we can't stream 2 YouTube things at once in OBS. If anybody knows that, definitely let me know. And I think we've hit a record in Twitch as well, haven't we? We don't normally get any more than like 5 people on Twitch. So we've seemed like we've got a decent amount of viewers on there for once. Don't need all. I won't put these away too much, because we're likely the customer will probably reply within an hour, and then we'll have to jump back on it. Yeah, get Rusty a Dogachino. Oh, he cries for the milk now every time, as you've seen. It's getting to 3 times a day sometimes. Now it's getting crazy. So that's mine. Actually, keep that with the Amiga. The programmer's in there, or well, I don't have to put him in the program until yeah, just put him in there. right then, I will catch the subs in half an hour. I've just missed that last message. Yeah, oh, you got another sub, nice. The name of Retro 6, it's from the software company Angel 6 that I do. So Retro 6 was just like a nice blend in with that, basically. Oh, rusty. Because it looks rusty, basically. He's like most pugs are fawn, is it? Or apricot, it's one of the two colours. So whichever one rusty is the non-common colour, and we just thought he looked rusty. And then I found out years later that apparently my dad had a dog called Rusty as well that we never knew about. So that was quite funny that we just come up with the name and it's the same. Chips in there. The 6, nothing, just sounded cool when I was a kid. I started Angel 6 when I was 10, so that was 10-year-old me thinking the name sounded cool, and then it stuck for 20 odd years. So there's no interesting story as such behind the name. It just literally sounded cool when I come up with it, which I guess is the most important thing. Right, customers. All that is customers. And then I do have for backwards. I do have for potentially. Oh, nearly give away a customer's address then. It's the only problem with live streams, you can't like you can dock somebody by mistake. We have in here something that I don't work on anymore. One of the things we ended just to stay on top, like keep on top. Any guesses what you think this is? No, not a CD32. I've only ever worked on 2 of these ever. I fixed them both, and one's on TikTok. Definitely not something you see. No, not Mega CD, not 3DO. Any hints there? You really have to know what this is to click in. CDX, nope. You're on the right tracks-ish. Sega. What do we think it is? See, that's how many people won't know it, even when you see the game. Oh, there we go. SG-1000. About one of the only ones I don't own. And I nearly brought one at a convention. You were close. SC-3000. I nearly brought all of them. So this was obviously the Sega. Was this like the first Sega personal computers? Right before the Master System. So this works, I am told. But I don't even have games to this because, like I say, it's one of the only ones I don't own. So the customers had to send a game, which is rare because I normally have all the games. So we've got a cool game here. But yeah, the SG-1000 before the SC-3000? I think it was, wasn't it? And then right after this was the Master System, I believe. But luckily, this one is coming in for just some remedial. Oh yeah, of course, the Sega Mark II. this one's just coming in for some basic work and should fully work. So the only reason I've accepted it is so you guys can kind of see a nice stream of being worked on something that most people won't even see. So I won't give away what we're doing to it, but this will be the next stream. So I'll leave him set up there. Little teaser. Yeah, I nearly brought one of these at the Donington, is it? The retro. I don't even know what it's called. The main retro event. Let me pull it up a second. Yeah, that's why I thought you'd go right with the SG-1000 as well. Then I forgot after what the customer had said. It's the SC-3000. The I'm sure it's Donington Retro Game Event. I need to go this year as well. Where's my mouse? Or is it Doncaster? I always get these backwards. Doncaster Gaming Market. That's the one. I always say Donington, it's Doncaster. PC. Let's actually look as well. Like I say, because I don't own it, I couldn't even honestly tell you. Let's go on Sega Retro. The SC-3000, the Sega computer, or just Sega, was the first. So it's the first one, or the first released in Japan as a low-cost alternative to the competition. Was the first. I knew it was the first or something. The first most successful home computer released to the general public. So what was the order? Let's go to the SG-1000. I thought it was the other way around. In fact, it's easier these days to ask AI when you can't be bothered to read. Was the SC... Is it the SC? I'll put it wrong. Start that again. Was the Sega SC-3000 before the SG-1000 or the other way around? Let's see what Gemini says, who often lies. It's a tie. Home computer version, the console version released. Cool. Keyboard and compact. Yeah, so the SG-1000 is definitely the one I was going to buy, whereas this is more like, I guess, like the Sinclairs at the time. Cassettes and cartridges versus Sega. Yeah, so this is closer to the SG-1000 is definitely closer to the Master System because that has the Sega cards, whereas this one doesn't. This is more similar to a computer versus a console. But yeah, we'll be working on this one. So this is where I always go. This is where I nearly brought one. I should technically go and sell stuff, but I always go and just buy stuff and never bother selling. So I'll go Dunkin' Donuts and then just raid the place of everything and fill the games room full of stuff. Yes, that's it anyway. I will jump off, get a quick drink, and be back on the sub-only stream. Probably be a bit after 3 now because I've barely got time to put the Sage machine on. So thanks everybody for joining in, and I'll catch you guys on the next stream, which will probably be now. It won't be for a few days now. Absolutely slammed with work still and trying to keep up, but hope you guys enjoyed it. Oh, and I've got to end like 6 different streams as well. I can't just click end on one. Right, YouTube. We'll get rid of Facebook first. Bye-bye. YouTube next.